Mirza Qadiani is talking about Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, the Jesus Christ. He said he used to commit sins with contempt. Kamal Gustakh mean with contempt. I mean knowingly and intentionally every day. That's the opinion of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani Murtad, the drunken man, that Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, the Jesus Christ, used to commit the sins every single day. Then he writes, "Pas agar यसू की लानती कुर्बानी गुनाह से रोक सकती तो बकौल इनके दाऊद इस कदर गुनाह में ना डूबता." Daud is the David. He's saying if the cursed sacrifice of Jesus Christ could have stopped the sins, and I'll tell you the background of this particular line. In Christian world, the belief is that the Jesus Christ, alayhi salatu wassalam, may peace be upon him, I mean, he sacrificed his worldly life before resurrection for the sins of the people. Whatever their belief is, this is one of them. And Mirza Qadiani is calling it a cursed sacrifice. I mean, the man should have some decency. He's talking about the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this man, Mirza Qadiani, doesn't even understand that the biggest religion in the world today is the Christianity, the followers of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, the followers of Jesus Christ. All the Muslims are not less. Actually, it's almost equal to each other. However, statistically speaking, the Christianity is still probably the biggest religion in the world. And he's talking about the Jesus Christ, one of the most revered, one of the most respected person in the entire Christian world. So you can well understand what's his attitude, and then if some kind of Qadiani comes around and tells me that we kind of talk in a bad language. I mean, I don't talk in a bad language at all about anybody, as a matter of fact. Some Qadiani comes around and tells me I say bad words or I talk about Mirza Ghulam Qadiani with contempt. What about this? He says the sacrifice of Jesus Christ was the cursed sacrifice. I mean, how could a sacrifice of a prophet, whether it happened or not? Our belief in Quran is وَقَوْلِهِمْ إِنَّا قَتَلْنَا الْمَسِيحِ عِيسَى ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. They say they have murdered Jesus Christ, the son of Mary, and the prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Muslim belief is he was neither murdered nor he was put on the cross. None of these events happened. However, the Christian world belief he was put on the cross, and second or the third day he was resurrected. And him being on the cross actually has paid for their sins. Whatever it is, Qadianis are less than 300,000 in this world. Entire world, they are telling an absurd lie that they are 22 million. They are absolutely not 220 million. Sorry, Qadianis will be disappointed on 22 million. Their latest claim is they are 220 million in the world, which is an absurd lie as a matter of fact. And we can talk hours and about it, and we have got the proof. Anyway, leaving this aside, the Isa alayhi salam, the Yesu he has written, the Urdu name for Jesus Christ, is one of the most revered person, not only among the Christians, but also among the Muslims. And he is the Prophet of Allah. There is a chapter about him, and the Quran talks about Isa alayhi salatu wassalam time and again. Quran talks about Jesus Christ or Isa alayhi salatu wassalam more than any other prophet. Now let's see what he says. Firstly, he said the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, which the Christian world believe was for the sin of the people who follow him was a cursed sacrifice. That's an unbelievable statement from anybody. Now, on page 337, Khazain volume 12, and the answer to the 4 questions of Sirajuddin the Christian, he says some of the very, very strange thing, which actually shows he is not only a very low kind of person, he is not only a person who cannot hold his tongue or move it in any nicer way, he is mentally not capable of doing any proper thing or writing any proper thing. Look what he has written about Isa ﷺ on page 337. ऐसा ही यसू की 3 नानियां जना की बुरी हरकत में मुब्तला हुई. He said 3 of the maternal grandmother of Jesus Christ committed adultery, zana. I have never heard Christian world saying this. First of all, a question comes that the Jesus Christ, Yesu or Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, how can she have 3 maternal grandmothers? In Mirza family, the child may have 10, 12, 20, 100 fathers, which we know that none of the child of Nusrat Jahan was the child of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani. I will show you the evidence in a minute. We can accept that there can be more than one father and the mother doesn't know that who is the real father. That is the case in Mirza family with almost every child who is born within the Mirza family. You can never be sure who is the real father. And with Mirza, it was 100%. Mirza Ghulam Qadiani. Now it says the 3 of the maternal grandmothers of Jesus Christ. How can a woman have 3 mothers? I mean, you can speculate about the father, but which world this Mirza Ghulam Qadiani comes? Mother gives birth to a child, and there is a 100% guarantee that the mother is the real mother of the child. That's why on the day of judgment, all human beings will be called with the name of their mother, not with the name of their father. On the day of judgment, everyone will be identified with the name of their mother and their name. Now here Mirza is saying, Mirza Ghulam Qadiani Murtad is saying here that the Jesus Christ has 3 maternal grandmothers who were adulterers, which mean in Urdu they were doing zina. So all Qadianis, first of all, if you think that the Christians have ever said that the Mary, the alayhi salatu wassalam, the mother of Jesus Christ, had 3 mothers, bring that evidence. This is a sign of an absolute illiterate man who has never known any decent thing in his life, and he can't. I'm not going into detail of the other things, but he believes that he was pregnant for 10 months. Human doesn't get for 10 months. And he said that's how he became. He delivered himself from himself and became the Jesus Christ. That's another story for another day. But here, how can one woman has 3 mothers? And he is abusing them. He's calling them fornicators. I'll show you the condition of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani in a minute once I'll finish reading that. I'll show you the proof, what he was. Then he says, Pas zahir hai agar Yesu ki lanti qurbani, he is saying the cursed sacrifice. I mean, Quran is saying, Kul ya ahlal kitabe ta'alu ila kalimatin sawaim bainana wa bainakum. Allah na'budu illa Allah wa la nushrika bihi shay'a. Wa la yattakhidha ba'duna ba'dan arbabam. Min dunillahi fa'in tawallu faqulu ashhadu bi anna muslimun. They call the people of other religion towards something which is common between you and the other religions. And remember when I say this, Qadianiyat is neither an other religion nor it is a part of Islam at all. And I don't want to go in that discussion either right now. But it says, so it's pas zahir hai, so it's obvious. अगर यीशु की लानती कुर्बानी पर ईमान लाना अंदरूनी पाकीज़गी के लिए असर रखता तो इसकी नानियां जरूर इससे फायदा उठा लेती. He says, the cursed sacrifice. How could you call it a cursed sacrifice? That's why until today, and it will be forever as long as somebody knew there was a Qadianiyat, because Qadianiyat is going to finish very fast. This is the last. Qadianiyat actually is in ICU, intensive care. They are hardly supporting themselves. He says the cursed sacrifice, if it was important to believe that the cursed sacrifice of Jesus Christ will bring internal cleanliness, then his maternal grandmother should have been benefited by it. What he is implying, Mirza Qadiani, is this: that the sacrifice of Jesus Christ was nothing, it was a cursed one, and anybody who believes that it cleansed them of their sins is an absurd thing to believe. He said if that was the case, his maternal grandmothers would have benefited, i.e., they wouldn't have done the zina or adultery or fornication. I don't know which one he's trying to employ. That's all up to Mirza Ghulam Qadiani. Now, it says, और ऐसे काबिल शर्म गुनाहों में मुब्तला ना होती. He says, then if the Jesus Christ had something good about him, then the maternal grandmothers of Jesus Christ wouldn't have done such a low, shameful sins. Three maternal grandmothers. I mean, is there any Qadiani who can explain this weird writing to us? Honestly speaking, no Christians will favor or even would like to see the face of any Qadiani after listening to this. ऐसा ही यीशु के हिवारियों से भी ईमान लाने के बाद काबिल शर्म गुनाह सरजद हुए. लो जी. Did you hear that? He said, similarly, anybody who believed in Jesus Christ committed shameful sins. He said the whole Christianity is committing sin, adultery, fornication, you name it, and they had it because of the cursed sacrifice of Jesus Christ. All of this is very weird. And if that is the person, Qadianis, you believe, I would suggest you stop believing in him immediately, because he is neither a decent man nor he knows how to talk about the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is mulhid, the atheist, who does not have a belief in God and who thinks he can say anything. That's why he not only, he started from Mulhim in 1886 and finished with multiple claims of being God. That's what the Mirza Qadiani is. Then he further says, Yehuda Askar Yuti ne 30 रुपए पर यीशु को बेचा. He says somebody called Yehuda Askar Yuti, he sold the Jesus Christ for 30 rupees. Now, I think that Jesus was born in a country, a part of the world, which was Middle East. Nowadays, it's called Israel or Palestine. And there was no currency called rupiah over there. If any Qadiani could show me a rupiah, a Palestinian rupiah in Semitic time, you know, the Semitic is actually the word, the term used for languages, Semitic languages. Aramaic is one of the Semitic languages, and this is a strange thing I don't want to go into detail of. That's why anti-Semitism is used in a wrong meaning nowadays. Semitism is the kind of the nations who were used to speak the languages. Most of those languages are dead nowadays. They are not being spoken by any significant number of people, and Aramaic is one of them. He says Askar Yuti sold Jesus Christ for 30 rupees. Oh, where are these bloody Qadianis? You know, can I have a look of the rupiah of Palestine in Aramaic language written there? It is a rupiah. I told you Mirza Qadiani was mad. एंड पितरस ने सामने खड़े होकर 3 मरतबा यीशु पर लानत भेजी. लो जी. This actually, if you ask Qadiani, you know, they are biggest liar on the face of the earth. I will show you I will do some programs on the proceedings of National Assembly where they were declared kafir and out of Islam, and very rightly so. And to say, oh my God, we did this in National Assembly. I will show you what was done. And just if you give me a second, I want to put one of the slide. I want to change this slide and would put one of the pages up there for your attention so that you could see as well. And as soon as I do that, I will start reading it again. It will come up in a minute. So let's see which one. I think that's the one. I'm not quite sure it's... Yeah, that's gone in. That's what I'm reading for you. If you can make it bigger, probably you can read it as well. This is the page number 337. This is the page I'm reading. You can read it as well. Asrajuddin Asai ke 4 sawalon ka jawab, and I have put this page in front of you. Now he says that Petrus actually sent the curse on Jesus Christ 3 times by standing in front of him. Oh, isn't it a bit surprising that all of us put billions of curses on Mirza Ghulam Qadiani whenever anybody takes his name? Actually, I believe that to put a curse on him is to give him some respect. He's not even worth a curse. And then he writes, or baki sab bhag gaye, all of them ran away from there. Rest of them ran away. और जाहिर है कि नबी पर लानत भेजना सख्त गुनाह है. Now he's telling to put the curse on the prophet is a huge sin. Here you go, Qadianis. From my side, billions and millions of curses on Mirza Ghulam Qadiani because he is a fake prophet. He is a liar. और यूरोप में जो आजकल शराब खारी और जनाकारी का तूफान बरपा है. Here you go. He says in Europe nowadays the drinking of alcohol and fornication, which means zanakari, is very common. Iska tufan barpa, which means I translate it as very common. He says nowadays the alcohol drinking and having sexual relation like fornication or adultery is very common. Iske likhne ki hajat nahi hai. Everyone knows that the European people who believe in Jesus Christ are the lowest of the low. If any Christian is listening, please take the reference from me and go to the Qadianis and ask them how they are better than any Christian in the European world. And by the way, their Khudai Khalifa, who is a donkey nowadays called Masroor, and I've recently heard somebody telling that he is claiming to be a prophet now. I think his mental illness has reached the height of Mirza Qadiani probably. And you should ask him that what does this mean? And he has taken the allegiance to a Christian king or a queen. Oh, that's a big deal. That's not a problem. Isn't it right, Qadianis? Allegiance to a non-Muslim. That's what he has done. And very impatiently he put the application in. Oh, please take my allegiance. And then he further writes, हम अपने किसी पहले पर्चे में बाज बुजुर्ग पादरी साहिबान की ज़नाकारी का जिक्र यूरोप के हवाला से कर चुके हैं. हेलो क्रिश्चियंस, प्लीज कम राउंड. Mirza Ghulam Qadiani is saying that the high priests, the padris, the priests, Christian priests, they are committing fornication, adultery, illegitimate sexual relationship, and we have told about these things with reference to the newspapers of Europe. He says European newspapers have confirmed the adultery and illegitimate sexual relationship of senior priests of the church. Okay, anybody has got problem, please go to Qadianis. We don't say that. Actually, we never said it. Muslim never said say that. I want to tell whole the Christian world that the Muslims have the same belief that the Jesus Christ is alive, and every Muslim believe in the second coming of the Jesus Christ or the Isa alayhi salam, and we wholeheartedly and without a shadow of doubt we believe in the second coming of Jesus Christ, the Lord of Christian world, and who is also called Isa alayhi salatu wasalam in Islam. All the tradition says when the Isa alayhi salam will come, world will become one. The only way for the world to become one is that the two biggest religion of the world, Islam and Christianity, unite together. That will make more than 80% of the population of this world. The Isa alayhi salam has been sent back in the latter days so that he unites his followers and the Islam in one piece. And this is not Mirza Ghulam Qadiani, he is Murtad. He is not even he is not even a decent human being. How could he unite? He doesn't fulfill any of the predictions of the traditions of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then it says, if you, I'm reading the Mirza Qadiani's राइटिंग ही सेज इन तमाम वाक़यात से बकमाल सफाई साबित होता है कि ये लानती कुर्बानी गुनाह से रोक नहीं सकी. He said this cursed sacrifice of Jesus Christ or Isa alayhi salatu wassalam proves very clearly that this could not stop from the sins. Which sin? I don't know. Ask Mirza Qadiani, please. And he goes on and on about it. And have you noticed one thing? He is talking about adultery, fornication, illegitimate sexual relationship. He is obsessed with that. And I will try to read one other reference. This is 330. There is something he has written on page number 373 as well. So I'm just trying to go on to the page 373, and here I am on this page. It is now it's the same book on volume 12 and 373, Sirajuddin Nasai के 4 सवालों का जवाब. Here it says, मगर इन लोगों ने इस सूअर को भी नहीं छोड़ा जो तमाम नबियों की नजर में नफरती था. He said they didn't even leave the pig aside, who was hated by all the prophets. He said they didn't even leave the pig aside. Okay? यीशु का शराबी कबाबी होना तो खैर हमने मान लिया. He said he was a drunken man, used to drink alcohol like a fish. Did you hear that? He said यीशु का शराबी कबाबी होना तो खैर हमने मान लिया. We accepted. He said We accepted that the Jesus Christ or Isa wasalam was a drunken man and he used to drink like a fish. मगर क्या इसने कभी सुअर भी खाया था? Look what he is blaming on Isa wasalam. That did he ever eat the pork? Now he is raising a suspicion about a prophet. I can tell you one thing about the background of the Jesus Christ or Isa wasalam. He was born among Jews. He was trained as a rabbi in the temple of Saxidus, of which the western wall still exists. This kind of person who was a Jewish priest and was raised by the temple, there is no possibility whatsoever on this earth that he would have eaten pork, because this is completely forbidden in the Sharia or the law of Moses. This shows the illiteracy of this man. He hears things from right, left. Somebody tells him, you know, the Christian people, they drink wine in their churches. Oh my God, Christian people drink wine. Jesus Christ must be drinking whiskey and all those things. He is that kind of person, Mirza Ghulam Qadiani. Now I have read to you two things Mirza Ghulam Qadiani is saying, and we will talk only about these two things. The first thing Mirza Ghulam Qadiani says, that Jesus Christ was a fornicator, Nauz Billah. May Allah protect us from this Satan Ghulam Qadiani. He also says the family of Jesus Christ was fornicator and has sexual irregularities among them. He also claimed that the Maryam ﷺ had three mothers, which is absolutely impossible. It's only his mental illness. And then he says that he was sexually not able to do anything. So that's what he's saying, that these are the two things I will show you from the other references as well. Now, let's see why Mirza is obsessed with the illegitimate sex, zinakari. Why he is obsessed with it. If any Qadiani is listening, please contact your psychiatrist. He will tell you. It is the reactive phenomena, particularly pronounced in mentally ill schizophrenic people. They are obsessed with it. We know, and it constitutes one of the criteria of diagnosis of schizophrenia, apart from many hallucinations Mirza has shown us in his books. Now I'm going to give you the reference of sexual status of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani, who is blaming zina, fornication, and adultery not only on Jesus Christ, Isa wasalam, but also on his family. The first reference I will give you from the Qadianis is from Maktubat-e-Ahmad. It's the letter number 15. And in this letter it says, I will read the reference in Urdu, जब मैंने नई शादी की थी तो मुद्दत तक मुझे यकीन रहा कि मैं नामर्द हूँ. He said, when I did the new marriage, which I believe he is referring towards his marriage with that woman who is Nusrat Jahan Begum, he said for a long time he believed that he was not a man. He was unable to have any relationship. Not my words. Any Qadiani who knows Urdu, just go to letter number 15, Maktubat-e-Ahmad, page 27, volume 2. जब मैंने नई शादी की थी तो मुद्दत तक मुझे यही यकीन रहा कि मैं नामर्द हूँ. How did he get the 10 children from that marriage then? For Qadianis to answer, and I believe him, because erectile impotence is a part of diabetes mellitus which he suffered for a long time. He had other serious complications of diabetes, which is called autonomic diarrhea, which they love to call it Sahal, and which he present as an evidence of his prophethood. Then he suffered from schizophrenia and hysteria, which is a mental illness closely associated with impotence. So you can make your own conclusions that what would you make of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani's statement here. Now, the other thing, one of the references, I have mixed up these references. They are mixed references. So I've shown you one reference that he was not able to have relationship, the marital relationship, and he admits it himself. That's why we say that none of a child, and particularly considering his background of diabetes and schizophrenia, I am of the opinion that there is no possibility on this earth that he could have any child with Nusrat Jahan. Now I give you another reference. One of the other reason of infertility and impotence, they are the two different conditions. Infertility is the sperm count, as a matter of fact, if you don't know. Sperm count is related to the testosterone levels in male. And impotence is the lack of erection. There is a book called Siratul Mahdi, page 615, volume 3. It's the tradition number 655. And the one who is stating the tradition is actually a properly qualified doctor. He was the brother-in-law, i.e. the brother of Nusrat Jahan Begum, called Dr. Mir Muhammad Ismail. He graduated from King Edward Medical College, as I understand. He says that once डॉक्टर मीर मोहम्मद इस्माइल साहब ने मुझसे बयान किया कि एक दफ़ा हज़रत मसीह मौद ने सिख दिक के मर्ज के लिए एक गोली बनाई, which means the once Mirza Ghulam Qadiani stated to him that he made a tablet for tuberculosis. Sil dik actually is translated as tuberculosis nowadays. He said, इसमें कुनीन और काफूर के अलावा अफ्यून, भंग और धतूरा वगैरह जहरीली अद्वियात भी दाखिल की थी. Look, the contents of that tablet was quinine and kafoor and opium and bhang and dhatura. Opium and bhang, they are very addictive. It's a nasha. It's an addiction. That's what he used to do. Now for Qadiani and everybody else, are you allowed to use alcohol or forbidden things for your treatment? Only if no other treatment is available, and there will be some of the scholars in Islam will say you can never use that. You are never allowed, particularly in this age. And to unknowing Qadianis, I will tell you, if you live in the Western world or even in Pakistan, there is no possibility that you will be given any medication with alcohol. It is not imported in Pakistan. None of the medication has got either alcohol or a gelatin which has got its origin from the pig or the pork. Doesn't happen in Pakistan. Similarly, in the Western world, particularly in United Kingdom, Germany, and France, if you tell the people you are a Muslim and you will have the halal medication, they will make sure that none of the medication has got alcohol in it and none of the medication has got the pork gelatin in it. We have got the list of medication. Same medication is prepared in such a way that these constituents do not go into it. So if somebody tells you that you are allowed to eat haram and drink haram because on the name of, oh my God, I feel very cold every night, so I'll have a couple of brandies, doesn't work. It is haram. And anyone who is doing this is not a Muslim. And to do, a prophet who claims to be a prophet will do that? Oh my God, never. Never believe the man who claims to be a prophet and does this thing. Now, there is another thing. We will come to the impotence of Mr. Mirza Ghulam Qadiani. There are many, many references. I'll try to stick to very few references, which just to show that what he was like. Now, this is a very popular incident. Actually, it's very interesting as well. I'll read you the reference. Unfortunately, you cannot show all the references on TikTok, but on YouTube you can. And next time I'll make the simultaneous broad on YouTube and TikTok both. It is in Ashab Ahmad, Jild Sis Daham, and page number, I will read to you, the page number is 31. I'm going to read you 31 and 32. These are the words. This is the incidents that how he married Nusrat Jahan Begum, who had children from everyone else apart from Mirza Ghulam Qadiani. I will read his words. He says, Hazrat Masih Muftari ने गोया नवंबर 1883 में एक रोज मुझे फरमाया. He says, Mirza Ghulam Qadiani said to him one day in November 1883, Mian Hamad Ali, safar par jana hai. The name is, the man who is a narrator is Hamad Ali. But it was, in the book it says it was narrated by Maulvi Abdur Rahman Sahab. But Hafiz Sahab, Mian Hamad Ali, probably he was a Hafiz of some kind. He said, Mian Hamad Ali, we have to go on a journey. Okay? चुनाचा यक्का किराए पर लिया. You know, this horse carriage is called yakka in Urdu language. So they hired a horse carriage. जब ख्वाब क्रोबों के महल्ला के करीब पहुंचे तो मिर्ज़ा इस्माइल बैग से फरमाया कि मैं दिल्ली शादी करने के लिए जा रहा हूं. When they reached the area of cleaners, you know, the Khakrop is the cleaner who comes and cleans the roads and the houses. So he was very fond of that, and he was passing by the mahalla, the residential area of the cleaners. Then he said to Mirza Ismail Beg, the one who is probably the Dr. Muhammad Ismail, he said, I'm going to Delhi for getting married. वहीं रुखसाना और वलीमा होगा. So the marriage will take place the same place in Delhi, and there will be, the walima is the party after the wedding day. So he says both these things will happen there. Then he says, this is the saying of a prophet. Actually, listen to it very carefully. A prophet is telling this. He is very honest man. My God, his honesty is unparalleled. He says, ये बात किसी को ना बताएं. He said, don't tell anybody that I am going for a wedding. That was a secret, you know, secret of a prophet, holy secret of Qadianiyat, if you want to know. ये बात किसी को ना बताएं. Don't tell this thing to anyone. मैं जाकर खत लिखूंगा. When I'll reach there, I'll write a letter. उस वक्त सुल्तान अहमद की वालदा को बता देना. You know, he had the first marriage, and he had two boys from that marriage, which I don't believe were his boys either. There are reasons for that, but anyway, they were under his name. One was Sultan Ahmed, the other was the Fazl Ahmed. He said, then you can tell, when I am married, then you can tell the mother of Sultan Ahmed, his first wife, whose name was Hurmat Bibi. Oh, what an honest prophet Qadiani is. Oh my God, you should give him a gold medal of honesty. ताकि मेरी वापसी तक वो रो दो बैठे. So that whatever she wants to cry or to do something, she would do it before he comes back. He doesn't want to see her crying. You know, he doesn't care who she is. In Islam, it is forbidden to have a second marriage without the consent of a first wife. That marriage is not a marriage, it's a zina. But anyway, Qadianis are not Muslims. So what a big deal, Zana or no Zana. Qadianis, any Qadiani, oh, is there any Qadiani who wants to, my God, wants to tell me that about this honesty of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani? So in summary, he's saying to Mirza Ismail Beg, my dear, when we will reach Delhi, we will write a letter after I am married. Then you can tell my first wife, who is the mother of Sultan Ahmed. And then if she wants to cry, she can cry. Same as, obviously, he never told her before, which is against the basic fundamental principles of Islam. You can never have a second wife without the consent of a first wife. At least you have to tell her. But he's a prophet anyway. You know, he has got special exceptions. He came instead of Jesus Christ. He's a holy Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. That's why Qadianis don't want to talk about Mirza Qadiani. They just want to talk about Quran and Hadith, because such a bad smell is coming from Mirza Qadiani. You cannot even keep your nose open. So they are hiding it when nausbillah with Quran and Hadith. आओ कुरान और हदीस से बात करते हैं, मिर्जे पर क्या बात करना चाहते हो, तुम तो मानते ही नहीं हो मिर्जे को। लो जी मान लो, बिलीव इन दिस प्रॉफिट। ही सेज, मैं हजूर की ये बात सुनकर सख्त हैरत ज़दा रह गया। एक बगैरत नू गैरत आ गई। He says, I was stunned. Mirza Ismail Beg is saying, I was stunned when I heard this fake prophet telling me, I haven't told my first wife, I will get married. After that, we will write a letter from Delhi. Oh, my dear Hurmat Bibi, have fun. I've got another wife, 16-year-old. He said, I was stunned. Not my words. Oh, let's read it again. It says, ये बात सुनकर सख्त हैरत ज़दा रह गया। वाह, क्योंकि मुझे बखूबी इल्म था कि हुजूर इस वक्त अज़वाजी जिंदगी के काबिल नहीं थे। उमर से यो note करो, note down this reference. It's called Ashab Ahmed. It's translated in English. Somebody told me. I haven't got the English copy. I'll bring it next time. Page 31. It's a volume 10 of Ashab Ahmed, page 31-32. Wow, any Qadiani who wants to come and comment on this one, that'll be a great thing for me to do. At least I learn something. He says, क्योंकि मुझे बखूबी मालूम था कि हजूर इस वक्त अज़वाजी जिंदगी के काबिल नहीं थे। Not my testimony. I keep on saying he has got no child from Nusrat Jahan Begum. Zero child. All belong to different people. Right? And here Mirza Ismail Beg is telling that he knew very well that Mirza Qadianis were not able to have marital life or marital relationship or sexual relationship with wife. He was totally unable. Not my words. He says, क्योंकि मुझे, because I knew very well, बखूबी मालूम था कि हजूर इस वक्त अज़वाजी जिंदगी के काबिल ना थे। वाह, alright, that's good. और अरसा से 3 मुख्तलिफ हकीमों और तबीबों से नुस्खे मालूम करके नोट किया करता था। He said, I used to get the recipes from 3 different doctors and hakim. Tabib is a doctor, hakim is a hakim. There's a name for English in hakim, I don't remember right now. और हजूर को खिलाता था। Oh my, this impotent, infertile हजूर, he said, I used to feed him. And that's what he's saying. I used to feed. I used to get the recipe or the treatment, and I used to make it, and I used to feed it to हजूर. Okay? लेकिन किसी का भी असर ना पड़ता था। लो जी, I'm speechless, Qadianis. I am very speechless. He said, I gave him lots of recipes to get erection, to lose impotence. Oh my God, oh Mirza, Mirza, illiterate. His disciples extreme illiteracy. They should have come to us and asked us, oh, Mirza has got a diabetes and schizophrenia. I would have told them, my dear, don't bother. Don't waste your money. Nothing is going to happen. Finished. That's it. But he says, लेकिन किसी का असर ना होता था. For years, she fed him the recipes. Nothing worked, and suddenly Nusrat Jahan Begum comes, and a child is coming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is a miracle, Qadianio. This is called miracle. Isn't it right? That infertile man, impotent man, bona fide, and he is having children. No, he is blaming the Jesus Christ family. Let's see what he is like. Then इस मिर्ज़ा इस्माइल बेग साहब की मौजूदगी में तो मैंने अपने ताईं मुश्किल ज़ब्त किया. मियाँ हामिद अली कह रहे हैं जी, मियाँ हामिद अली is saying in the presence of Mirza Ismail Beg, I hardly could keep it. He said, I hardly. Actually, he's saying, I couldn't believe this chap is doing this. Who? Mirza Qadiani. I thought he was bloody crazy, but he's something more than crazy. There then he goes. नहर के पुल पर पहुंचे तो अर्ज किया, आपकी हालत आप पर और ना मुझ पर मख्फी है. फिर आपने शादी का क्यों इरादा फरमाया मेरे हुजूर? He says, when we reached the canal bridge, there must be a canal around there. And he said, we reached the canal bridge. Then he said, I couldn't resist anymore. I said, you know about your state, and I know about it. I've been feeding you the impotency and fertility drugs for recipes for a long time. Nothing works. You know it, and I know it. Why did you want to marry? That's the question Mia Hamad Ali is posing to Mirza Qadiani. Wow. He says, Farmaya, aapki baat durust hai. Mirza said, oh my God, you are right, Mia Hamad Ali. You are right, I agree, I'm impotent. I agree, I'm infertile. लेकिन मैं क्या करूं? I can do nothing. अल्लाह ताला कहता है कि चल और मैं चलता हूं. He said, the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said me, go, and I go. What Allah has told this fake prophet? Don't tell your first wife. Let her cry. Get married first, and then write a letter from there so that she had few days to cry. And once you arrive with a new 16-year-old wife with your impotency and infertility, she will be okay. That's what the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Mirza Qadiani. So, no, Qadianis, don't believe me. No, don't abuse me. Don't believe me. You read Sahabi Ahmed, volume 10, page 31-32. I'm not reading from my side. Then Mian Hamad Ali is saying, इस जवाब पर मैं क्या अर्ज करता? मैं खामोश हो गया. He said, okay, oh my God, what kind of God is it? He's telling Mirza Qadiani with infertility and impotence, long standing. He's telling him to get married. Oh, I can't say anything. Oh, maybe. Oh, that's all right. दिल्ली, listen, that's very interesting. दिल्ली में हजरत मीर नासिर नवाब साहब के यहाँ पहुंचे. This is the same Mir Nasir Nawab. When he died, he was next to him. And in his book called Hayat Nasir, which is his biography, he writes the last word Mirza Qadiani uttered before he left for hell was, Mir Saab mujhe wabai haza ho gaya. None of the Qadiani. Oh, Mirza said, I'm not the 73rd sect. Every Qadiani says, bloody liar, Mirza. We are 73rd sect. And I get so surprised. I showed 7 references to a Qadiani. I said, these are from Mirza Qadiani book. You read yourself. He said, okay, this may be from Mirza Qadiani, but we are 73rd sect. And in each reference, Mirza said, we have got nothing to do with 73rd sect. And here, you can read again. Same thing. Mirza Qadiani said to Mir Nasir Nawab, मुझे वबाई हैजा हो गया, I've suffered from the cholera, seasonal cholera, and every cousin, oh my God, no, he didn't die of season. If we accept seasonal cholera, then the Maulana Sanaullah Amritsari will become right. Anyway, that's a different topic, one another day. That is Qadiani. And I'm sure, you will be, why are you reading this? Because I know 90% of Qadianis don't know your inside. You have sold them something else. A bottle of urine with the cover of Ab Zamzam. That's so dirty. Then it says, when they reached to the house of Mir Nasir Nawab, who was the father of Nusrat Jahan, तो बैठक में ठहराया गया. The front room is called बैठक in Urdu, so they asked them to stay in the front room. चंद रोज कबल ही बीवी साहबा हजरत नुसरत जहां बेगम अयाम से फारग हुई थी. Now I don't know. I mean, when they arrived there, just imagine the situation. Mirza is entering the front room, sitting on a chair or a sofa, and Mia Hamad Ali is on his right, and Mirza Ismail Beg on his left. The fourth person, there was only 4 people in this whole fiasco. Mirza Ismail Beg, Mia Hamad Ali. Guess who was the 4th one? Surprise, surprise. Malawa Mal, his Hindu friend who used to translate his Ilham and Wahi. When he stops at Zila Peshawar, I love you, I will give you. Oh, he used to go to Malawa. Oh, my dear Malawa Mal, I had this Ilham in English. Oh my God, do you know what does it mean? That's Qadiani prophethood. So the 4th one was Malawa Mal. And Malawa Mal is sitting in front, and then the Mir Nasir Nawab enters the room and he says, Oh Mirza ji, ayam khatam ho gaye 4 din pehle. She had the periods 4 days ago, you are okay. All right. So how about these 3 people listening to this news? I don't know. Any Qadiani can come and explain these things to us. So that'll be very useful. Doesn't happen in decent household. घर पर ही रुखसाना अमल में आया. They said, wait, Mirza Qadiani, 4 people with 3 more people, and the 4th is Mirza Qadiani. They said, wait here, we'll get the girl ready, take her with you. Okay. रुखसाना की रात मैं सख्त बेकरार था. मियाँ हामिद, और मियाँ जी तुसी किथे गए हो? Oh, Mia Hamid said, oh my God, I thought, okay, now wedding is done. What's gonna happen? What Mirza Qadiani is gonna? He said, I was very uncomfortable with it. He says, where it go? He says कि इस्तराब की वजह से मेरी नींद का फूर हो गई. Because of this anxiety, my sleep was gone. He couldn't sleep, Mia Hamad Ali. Mirza is getting married and Hamad Ali is not sleeping. Oh my God, he can't have erection. He is infertile. Oh my God, I have been giving him such a medication. None of them is working. And he says, मैं रात भर हुजूर के लिए नहायत ज़र्रों से दुआ में मसरूफ रहा. He said, I was praying all night. Oh my God, save my impotent prophet. Save my impotent Nabi. Oh God, help him, God. He is impotent. He has got no fertility. What's going to happen? You see, that was the prayer of Mia Ahmad Ali. You should do it. He is a Sahabi. Naus billah, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Then सुबह की अजान हुई तो हजूर मेरे पास तशरीफ लाए. Obviously, he was praying all night. He was the only person who was awake. Malawa Mal and Mirza Ismail Beg were sleeping. They said, I don't want to use the F word. He said, F with Mirza. Let's have a sleep. He said, Subah ki, and the azan happened in the morning, and the Huzur came to me. Oh. और हमने नमाज फजर अदा की. He said, we said the morning prayer, the Fajr prayer. जिसके बाद फरमाया, मिर्जा said after that, आओ लाल किला की तरफ सैर कर रहे हैं. Let's go to for a walk towards the Red Fort. Then that's in Delhi. चुनाचा रास्ता में खुद ही फनाया. Then he said on the way himself, अल्लाह ताला की जात कितनी पर्दापोश है. He said God is so good in covering the faults. I mean, there was a और बावफाया एंड फेथफुल रात बीवी साहबा को फिर आम शुरू हो गए. नाउ आई कांट अंडरस्टैंड दिस इज वियर्ड. Gentlemen and ladies, this is very weird. He entered the front room in the morning before wedding, and the father told, oh my God, Mirza, you are okay. She had the menstrual periods, which is the monthly periods women have, only few days ago, so everything is. Now Mirza woke up in the morning and telling the period started again. Can you believe this? I don't believe it, not even to the slightest. The fact was that Nusrat Jahan did not want Mirza to touch her. Otherwise, she is a 16-year-old young girl with a regular menstrual periods, and the last period stopped only a few days ago. And suddenly she is telling Mirza, oh, my dear Mirza, the one who looks loony. Mirza, I'm sure the Mirza had lots of tonic wine that day, plus Afim, plus Bang, which I have given you the references. And he was tun. And he looked at the Nusrat Jahan. Nusrat Jahan figured out, my God, the smell of wine is coming from his mouth. Smell of opium is coming from it. Oh my God, he told him, stay away, I'm having periods. Or the possibility is, if you would have asked Nusrat Jahan, she would deny it. She would say, I said nothing. He made it up. Like a Silham and Wahi. That's more accurate thing to happen. Anyway, he said, oh, the Begum Sahib, Bibi Sahaba started having the periods again. और हमें छुट्टी हो गई. छुट्टी हो गई mean, oh, that I came off the hook. That's how you will translate it. Any Qadiani want to translate other ways. He says, चुनाचा इसी हालत में हजूर हजरत whatever she was को लेके कादियान. So he said, in the same condition. Oh, Qadianis, I guarantee you, she never had a second period after a few days. Doesn't happen. If it happens, it's called menorrhagia, which is a pathological condition. And I never read anything in rest of his book this ever happened again. If it was menorrhagia and happening time and again with the short and brief periods, it would happen time and again. It would need a treatment. Never happened. So obviously, she said, oh, keep the man off. Anyway, we have got more other evidence, but I'll settle with this. Then this is the story of his wedding. Then she came and brought her, and the other things happened. Why I read this is to prove to you that Mirza was impotent. He was infertile. He was diabetic. He had schizophrenia. So what do you expect from this kind of man? And telling us a bullshit story that he had 10 children. Actually, the reason he writes about Neog is that he wanted children. He was obsessed with it because, and he had many people staying within his household. She used to run around with the men, and that was the only way she could have had children. None with Mirza Ghulam Qadiani. That's what I'm not saying with any that I don't like Mirza because he's a fake one. Obviously, we don't like the fake people, but this is a medical fact nobody can deny. And we will give the prize money if somebody could prove that any of the child Nusrat Jahan had is a child of Mirza Ghulam Qadi. It's very easy. You do the sampling and DNA test. You can even do the test on the second generation. That's not a problem. Now, one last reference I will read from a book called Nasul-e-Masih, page 587. That's an older edition. You can find it out by saying the rest of the Prophecy number 78, Bakiya Peshgoi 78, 78. And I'll read this one and then anyone can ask question in any language. और किसी तरह की तकलीफ पेश ना आई बल्कि हर तरह का आराम पहुंचा। और दूसरा बड़ा निशान ये है कि जब शादी के मुतल्लिक मुझ पर मुकद्दस वही नाज़िल हुई। The sacrifice of Jesus Christ was a cursed sacrifice. Did you hear in his time and again he was telling us that was a cursed sacrifice. Here she had a fake hallucination about the wedding and he calls it the Muqaddas Wahi, the sacred message. That's the translation of Muqaddas Wahi, which no one will believe. तो उस वक़्त मेरा दिलो दिमाग और जिस्म नहायत कमज़ोर था. He said my heart and brain and my body was very weak. और अलावा diabetes, I told you. He himself was suffering, apart from diabetes or Durane Sar, which means the mental illness, Miram and Mirak. He explains it himself. I'm not adding from my side. Or Tashanje Kalab, which means heart sinks. Dik ki bimari ka asar abhi bukul. Then he had the tuberculosis. Oh my God. Oh Mirza, you think we are illiterate lot, aren't you? Mirza is saying at the time of marriage, he had long-standing diabetes, he was mentally ill, he was schizophrenic, his heart and brain was very weak, his body was very weak, right? And apart from mental illness, he had the heart sinks as well, and he was also suffering from tuberculosis. Wow, what a miracle. 10 children, one after another. इस नहायत दर्जा के ज़ौफ़ में जब निकाह हुआ, when the nikah, the wedding was done with this condition, तो बाज़ लोगों ने अफसोस किया. Some of the people said, oh my God, Mirza, what happened to you? And he said, क्योंकि मेरी हालत मर्दमी का लदम थी, because I was thoroughly impotent. Oh, great Mirza. Any Qadiani who could help us understand how to have children in the state which Mirza has described for himself, I can tell you, if you could do this miracle with the people which the Mirza did with himself, having 10 children with such a level of infertility and diseases, you will be a very famous doctor of this time. There are plenty of patients around. So I'm sure one of them can do this trick. And I won't go into details. Qadiani go very upset with me if I go in detail. So now anybody can speak and give their opinion. Okay, I've talked too much. हाँ जी, कोई भाई बात करना चाहेंगे मिर्ज़ा कादियानी की? Anybody wants to comment on Mirza Qadiani's wedding, children, impotence, his insults to Jesus Christ, Isa alayhi salatu wassalam.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम. हाँ, मुफ्ती साहब.
जी
मुफ्ती
डॉक्टर
साहब,
साहब।
आपने सुनी वो कहानी मिर्जे की शादी की?
जी जी बिल्कुल जनाब।
आप उस पर फरमाएं कि जो लानती कुर्बानी से क्या मुराद है, वो क्यों उसको कहता है लानती कुर्बानी?
शायद उसने शीशा देख लिया हो।
बात तो ठीक है.
बात ये है शाह साहब, डॉक्टर साहब, कि हज़रत मसीह मौऊद यानी,
आपकी आवाज़ कम आ रही है.
एक मिनट, हज़रत ईसा अला नबीना व अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम के मुताल्लिक़ कुरान में या अहादीस में जो कुछ बयान हुआ है, उसमें दो चीज़ें हैं. एक तो आपने ज़िंदगी इस कदर फ़कीरी और दरवेशी की हालत में गुजारी, फ़क्र इख्तियारी था, कि आपके पास अपना रहने के लिए ज़ाती मकान तक